Hello everyone. In this video we will be covering how to factorize simple quadratics. And what I mean by simple quadratics is quadratics where this number over here is a 1. So we're only going to have a b value and a c value. This will be a 1. If we have a different number here like 2, 6 or 12 after taking out a common factor, then we're going to need to use the cross multiplication method, which I will be covering in another video. But for this video we'll just be learning the basics. Now when we factorize a quadratic like this, we will end up with two brackets, x plus or minus something and x plus or minus something else. Now, how to figure out what these numbers are or what signs these are is we need to look at the factors of this number and the sign of this number and that number. So, first let's remind ourselves what a factor is. We will be looking at factor pairs, so let's give a definition for a factor pair. Factor pair is two numbers that when multiplied together give me the original number. So, let's find the factor pairs of 6. So if I'm looking at 6, what two whole numbers multiplied together will give me 6? So I could have 6 times 1, and that gives me 6, so this is a factor pair. Or I could have 2 times 3, and that would also give me 6, and that would be a factor pair. So each of these are factors. So 1, 2, 3, and 6 are factors of 6, and the factor pairs are the ones that you have to multiply together to get 6. Now let's use these to factorize that quadratic. Let's take a look at x squared plus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0. Now I know it's going to give me two brackets, but I don't know what else will be in these brackets. So how I need to find out what those are is I need to look at the factors of 6 that will give me 5. Now this is a plus sign over here, so that means that the factor pair that I use will have to both be the same sign. So first let's look at the factor pairs of 6. We have 6 and 1 and 2 and 3. Now this plus means that they have to be the same sign, so they both have to be positive or they both have to be negative. If this was a minus, then these would have to be different signs, and we will cover an example like that next. So in this example we have a plus here. That means that both these factors have to be the same sign. So I need to make a plus 5. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to have plus 1 plus 6, or I'll have to have minus 1 minus 6. Now this gives me positive 7, and this gives me negative 7, and that's not a plus 5, so this does not work, and this factor pair does not work in this example. Let's look at the next factor pair. We could have 2 plus 3, or we could have minus 2 minus 3. So this will give me a plus 5. This will give me a minus 5. So here we have a plus 5. So this is what we want. We want the factor pair 2 and 3, and we want the 2 to be positive, and we want the 3 to be positive. So what I can do is I can take this plus 2 and I can just put it in one of the brackets. And I can take the plus 3 and I can put it in one of the other brackets. And that is my factorized form. X plus 2, x plus 3 is equal to 0. So again, this plus told me that they both need to be the same sign, and I needed to make a plus 5. Now let's look at an example where they have to be different signs. Let's take a look at x squared minus x minus 6 is equal to 0. Again, we know that it's going to give me two brackets, but I don't know what's going to be in them yet. So again, I need to look at the factor pairs of 6. So we have minus 1 and 6 and 2 and 3 as my two factor pairs. Now, the negative 6, this negative over here, tells me that the two factors have to be different signs, and they need to give me minus 1, because minus 1 is my middle number. So if my factor pair of 1 and 6 is correct, I will either have minus 1 plus 6, which gives me positive 5, or I can have 1 minus 6, which gives me minus 5. But I need a minus 1, so this does not work. Let's look at the next factor pair. If 2 and 3 is my correct factor pair, I can either have minus 2 plus 3, which will give me positive 1, or I can have 2 minus 3, which gives me minus 1. which is what I want. So I have a positive 2 and a minus 3, which gives me minus 1 as I wanted from my middle number, which means these two are my correct numbers and I can put them in my brackets. So I can put plus 2 in any of the brackets and I can put minus 3 in the other brackets, and this is fully factorized. In summary, we look at the factors of C that'll give me B. And if this is a positive, the factors have to be the same sign, and if it's negative, the factors have to be different signs, and they have to give me B. And that is how to factorize quadratics when we have a 1 in front of the x squared term. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you want to look at how to factorize quadratics where the number in front here isn't a 1 after taking out a common factor, then look out for my cross multiplication factorization video. Happy studying, guys.